Yo, how is everybody doing? I told y'all in 2022 that I felt like 23 was going to be a crazy year. And we started off with Jake Freed. We followed it with Ryan Carson. And now we have a pretty damn hot artist in the scene right now. One of my favorite, who is Terrell Jones. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been pretty crazy to see you in the space. I've seen your work for a little bit now, and I'm still a big fan of Hit My Jack, probably my all time favorite of yours. But dude, you've been really catching fire. It's been super awesome to see. What has it been like for you recently, bro?
It's been obviously hectic. As crazy as it looks, on the outside, it's 10 times crazier on the inside. But I'm just super grateful, because before, I used to always kind of say, put the eyes on me and I'll handle the rest. And, now I have those eyes on me. So right now it's just up to me to keep on delivering good art and good stories and all that. So, like I said, I'm super grateful for it to be in the position that I am. I remember times where people didn't care about my art. I remember times where, I had editions that didn't sell out, so it's a super cool position to be in.
Absolutely. So, and it's really crazy. So, I would assume most people are following you in the space, but if not, I've seen some of your old tweets where you have that same energy and that passion, and you're like, "Yo, you just let me do what I do, and the right people see this, we can really make something." Have you
Mhm.
known have you known from early on that you have what it takes? You just need the right people to kind of like really peep your art and see what you're doing in this space.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I kind of always had faith in my skills. And even if I know that I'm not necessarily good at something, I know that I'm willing to work hard enough to get better at that and, to kind of, sure up those things that, like I said, I didn't used to like doing backgrounds and stuff. And now I kind of like that's a big focal point of my pieces. I didn't like to make, huge narratives at one point. A lot of my pieces didn't mean anything. And now, like I said, I'm working on all those types of things. So, yeah, like I said, I definitely knew that I had what it took in terms of the quality of the work and all that. I just knew that, um, especially when you're starting out as an artist in the space, it's super hard to kind of get those eyes on you initially, and to kind of get that faith in you. Because I think a big thing with collectors in the space, I kind of had a tweet not too long ago that was kind of like people need their hands held, especially collectors and stuff. So a lot of times collectors don't really look into people or don't really buy stuff unless someone else is buying it, or a lot of these big whales step into that ring first. So it's definitely kind of hard for, or it was hard for me to kind of hit that point. But I think once I did actually, hit that point and get that momentum rolling, I feel like I've been trying to get it rolling ever since, feeding the momentum from an addition into a one of one, and then vice versa, feeding the momentum from a one of one into an addition. So, yeah, I've definitely been trying to keep that momentum rolling.
Absolutely. And, we're going to talk about some of your pieces. I have some on my other screen here and some of your recent works like Born to Die. But before we hop into those, let's rewind a little bit back. So, we know that you're a phenomenal artist, but I haven't got the chance to learn about your history. When did you actually become an artist? When did you know art was your thing? And then if you could tell us when you got into the NFT space, Web3 space, I guess you could call it.
Yeah. Pretty much I've been doing art for as long as I can remember. I was one of them kids that was drawing on the walls, getting in trouble for it, drawing on all my homework, all my class assignments, all that. So yeah, I've always known that, creating period was just super fun for me. I come from an artistic family. Me and my brothers and sisters used to always draw together and, create different things together. Um, And then also my aunt is a super great portrait artist as well. So she always used to kind of inspire me and instill certain skills into me. You know, every time I saw her, she would have like a sketchbook for me or an art book or something. So that was definitely a big part of it as well. But yeah, I think going through the years and going through school and stuff, even if you don't necessarily know that that's what you're into, I think that people will kind of make you realize that, like, oh, like, hey, you know, this person is this, and like Terrell, he's a drawer. You know, he draws all day, and you know, you'll have like 10 kids, you know, hovering over you during lunch when you're drawing and stuff. So, yeah, I think like going through the years, I definitely started to take it a little bit more serious. I think it probably got like um not to say the most serious, but you know, once I actually started to get paid for it, you know, then I actually did start to notice like, oh, like I can actually turn this into something that's not just a hobby. Like this can actually be something that can I don't think at the time I was thinking something that could be like a full-time job necessarily, but I knew that you know, I could get paid a little bit, you know, even if it's just like food money or you know, money for clothes or whatever. I knew that I could actually start to make a little bit of bread here and there just from, you know, doing commissions. Um, so yeah, that was like, you know, high school and probably even like a little bit before high school. But going through high school, getting out of high school, I was into designing sneakers as well. And that was definitely something I was looking like towards in terms of like a career in art because I used to always hear, you know, if you get an art degree or if you're trying to pursue art, like there's not a lot of jobs in art. So I knew that that was a job in art, and I was super passionate about sneakers. So that seemed like something that I could do. And you know, I would do little workshops here and there where, you know, it would be me and you know, some it was like me and five other artists. Others it was like me and you know 20 other artists, and it would just be us coming together, you know, for different events and stuff. Some of them were like Puma, some was like New Balance, but it would always just be like us coming together and collaborating. I think with that I kind of realized that I'm super into being around artists and they're kind of like my tribe of people, and you know, we all kind of have our own little like things that we kind of all have been through, and you know, maybe some of us are in different stages of our careers or different stages of you know our art journey. You know, maybe some people started you know 2 years ago, maybe some people have been doing it like me my whole life, but we all kind of came together to do you know one common thing to accomplish one common goal. So that definitely was a big part of me, just like even just like with Web3, I feel like that's kind of why I feel so like connected with other artists and so like comfortable in this space. Um, oh shoot, thanks, ten
No, you're
percent.
good.
But yeah, if it drops off, we could like move to my laptop. Like it works on the laptop too, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
awesome. All right. Yeah, but in terms of getting into Web3, during one of those shoe events, I met this dude named Jordan Azal, and we got super familiar on Instagram. And we would always, you know, hit each other back and forth, just like talking about art. And at a certain point, we both wanted to get onto Foundation. So at that time, it was super exclusive to get onto. So we both had just made a pact to each other, like if one of us finds our way on, the other one will help the other one get on. So eventually he found his way on, and I was like, hey, like, how do I get that invite? And he was like, one of his pieces needs to be bought. So I was like, hey, send me that link. Like, I'll buy it straight up. So after a certain point of me, like, because I think he had mentioned something, but he didn't want me to buy that one because he didn't know if the copyright would have allowed him to sell that certain piece. So, you know, I found myself just like begging him, like, hey, mint something. Like, let me just, let me buy something. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, let me just buy something. So he ended up minting something. I ended up buying it. I probably minted that same day after getting that invite. And that piece had sat for months. At the time, I didn't realize that you needed a whole community and all that. Like I said, I was just on Instagram with it. So I was thinking that I could just post something on Foundation and it would just, you know, fly off the shelf. But like I said, it had sat for months. And that was around March 2021. So a little bit later, a couple months later, I had ended up quitting my job that I had for like 3-ish years at FedEx. I was working in the warehouse. Really, at that time, I had just quit because I knew I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't try to pursue art, at least just once, just try to do something in art. At the time, they was like working us like slaves, and I just knew like they weren't respecting me, and I didn't like to try to accomplish other people's goals and stuff. And I was just like, something's got to change. So I ended up quitting that, and I just knew from then on, I was like, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to pursue this, I'm going to need to take it 10 times as serious as I was, because at the time, uh, it wasn't just a hobby because I was doing like commissions and stuff, but it definitely wasn't something where, I was trying to be like a fine artist or a gallery artist or something like that, where I had saw myself in that light. It was just like doing commissions, doing album covers, song covers, brochures, anything that would get me paid, basically. If it was something that I didn't know how to do, I would figure out how to do it, Google or YouTube University. But yeah, nah. So with that, and that was around May that I had quit. I just knew that I wanted to put more narratives into my art, more stories, and just like I said, take it more serious. And instead of just doing a bunch of art for other people, actually try to build my portfolio and do art for myself. So that's when I was making pieces like Fresh Off the Lot or A Happy Place. So yeah, with that. I started to promote myself onto Twitter more as well. So around June-ish, I had found the Twitter art community. And from then on, I was getting put into different group chats. And then from then on, they put me into other group chats that were like NFT group chats. Because they would, see like the foundation link in my bio and be like, oh, you have NFTs. So yeah, with that, I was able to follow different collectors and different artists in the space, and I was actually able to get that piece that I had minted bid on. So from then on, it was really just like, okay, like scratch everything else in my life, not watching no movies and shows. I'm gonna just straight up, I'm gonna just do art all day. Like, I'm gonna just go hard, basically seeing that I was able to actually sell and actually like move in this space. I knew that I could turn that into something if I was able to work hard enough for it.
Damn. So let me say this before we talk on all that. I know you said that you're on 10%. Would you like to switch this over?
Yeah, we probably can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have 6 now.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, give me 1 second. Stick around for 1 second. All right. Quick technical difficulty, but we're right back. As y'all just heard, Terrell was telling us how he got into the space. Now that you're into the space, now that we have you as an artist here, it's crazy. I actually have your super rare page up, and it's so neat seeing the evolution of your work because on your super rare it's a lot of your. Now, is this you as a child?
It's definitely based on me, I would say.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I don't ever want to put it to be like, yeah, this is me, and like if you buy it, I'll be on your wall. But like, it's definitely a character based off me. His name is Terry.
Okay. Wow. There's a name. Okay. Wow. I'm blown away. Okay. So Terry, I'm a real big fan of the pieces with Terry. One of my favorite and one that I've seen a lot was the Good and Evil, the Devil. Let me see the full name. The Devil, I thought that was an absolutely amazing piece for one.
I appreciate it.
But it's crazy to see your evolution, how you would go from Terry to now. I would say it's more of the devil, angel, more devil, I would say, but it's more on that scene. What happened there? Is that just something that happened, or is it something you planned on doing?
I would say it's something that kind of just happened. It really had just stemmed from, so with Terry is a part of the Joy and Wonder series that I had. And basically, that was kind of split into, not to necessarily say split into two halves, because most pieces were parts of both. But the joy part of it was just that like nostalgic joy feeling that we feel. When I was thinking about the joy parts, I was thinking about, how we used to, I know me personally, I won't try to put anyone else there, but, I used to be so excited for Christmas or for birthdays. I couldn't sleep the night before. So just to have like those nostalgic feelings. And then the wonder part was just about kind of how children's imaginations are so vast. And as we grow older, we kind of get that flame kind of sniffed out. So it's kind of trying to bring that flame back of just like that, just imagination and all that. So that's like the joy and the wonder. And then I had the other series as well. That was the good and evil. And, that was just trying to put my own iconography into that, mythos or ethos or whatever you want to call it. That was just like the devil and the angel on the shoulder. Just trying to put my own little stories in there. So it really stemmed from the good and evil series. And it really just came from me wanting to do more stories and stories that weren't necessarily going to happen on someone's shoulders. Kind of thinking about what happens when the devil and the angels aren't on your shoulders. What world do they live in? So that's really what that came from. And really, like I said, with the not having myself on other people's walls, it was kind of like that as well. I'd realized a lot of the pieces that I was making, there's nothing wrong with them, but they were kind of super niche. And with Evil in Color, I was definitely able to make more stuff that would appeal to more people, while still having that thing that kind of connects them. Because, everyone knows about, devils and angels. So, half of the battle is already finished by me already having you know that, okay, angels are usually good and devils are usually bad and they don't like each other. And, so having people already have that much of the story already told in their heads, that was kind of a big part of it as well. Like I said, it was really just to connect with more people. And I was really able to kind of put more of my inspirations or different inspirations into my art. Whether that be the David Hockneys of the world, Hiroshi Nagai's, Edward Hopper, more fine art inspirations.
That's crazy. I know every artist you just named, big Edward Hopper fan. It's
insane.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because I feel in this space, I make the joke a lot. Most people, whenever they're like, oh, yeah, I love art. It's like, oh, for real, who's your favorite artist? They're like, oh, Warhol, Basquiat, Herring. I'm like, okay, well, and there's no hate on that. No. But, to actually have those inspirations and just like fine art, I find that pretty impressive. And just the fact that you genuinely like art. And for those listening in, I'm going to be bouncing around so many different questions, just because Terrell has been doing a lot here recently, and I don't want to take up all of his time. So I could talk to him for hours about all the work that he's done and what he's currently doing. But just for those listening in, these will be all over the place. But Terrell, so I'm looking at all the pieces, bro, and for one, I think they're phenomenal. But let's talk about what you're currently doing. Okay, so we have the pieces from the Evil in Color. We have From Never Too Late, The Getaway, I'm Back. So now, please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I'm Back, Doubles, and Costume Party were the three before Born to Die, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do those three pieces, and then what sparks the inspiration for Born to Die? Because for those listening in, if you're not aware, Born to Die has been, I would say, a very, very big piece in recent art world as it's a burn piece. And there's only so many. There's been a couple burns. You still have some planned. And as people burn, the supply continues to go down, but you still have stuff coming out. So let's walk through, if you can, what was the whole inspiration behind Born to Die?
Yeah, that pretty much was just me in like October hearing whispers that Manifold was going to have a burn function at some point. And, the second I heard that, it was just instantly like, okay, burn, sacrifice, sacrificial lamb, they're going to burn this piece and get another piece. And that, like I said, that was just like the basic thought that I had. But like I said, at that time, I was so busy. So really, anything that I was going to do with that, I knew that it was going to take a while, first of all, just because I was, like I said, so busy with everything else. So it was always just a thought in the back of my head, like, hey, whenever you get time, finish that piece. So, whenever they come out with it, you could just put it out, like, so you already have it ready. So yeah, I definitely wasn't working on it for months. And then back in November, I had heard it again, like, hey, Manifold's about to come out with that burn feature this week. So then from then on, I was just like, okay, let me actually just like go back into this. Because at the time I had made an ideation. It was just like a little sketch. Kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. I think at the time it was like Damon holding my character, Damon DeVille from Evil in Color, holding like a mechanical lamb. But at a certain point, I had thought that it would be way cooler and way more relevant to have it be Skelly at DeVille. And then as well as, because at first I was going to be a lamb, but and then I was like, I don't want PETA coming after me. I don't want all types of just people like, hey, he wants them to kill animals, basically. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do like a living animal. That's why the mechanical animal came into mind. And then at a certain point, I was like, no. So at a certain point, I was like, if they're going to be burning it and they're buying it for cash, I was like, how about I just have it be like an origami dollar lamb, basically. So that's where that head came from. And, with working on it and with how much I was working on it, I think I had spent 3 days actually making like the Born to Die piece that people know now. And like I said, with making that, when I was getting near the finish, I had started to kind of think through the different functions and mechanics and all of that part of it. So that's when, at first it was just like, you burn this one piece to get this other piece, and that was going to be it. And then at a certain point, I was like, nah, like I need to like gamify it, and I need to have it to where people are going to want to have to buy 2, 3, 4 of these things. So yeah, that's when I was like making the piece like super fire. I was like, I don't want them to like feel like they're gonna even want to burn this one specifically. And then that's when I made like multiple burns at multiple times, and the different exclusive drops or free claims and all that. So like I said, I really just wanted to gamify it and really just kind of make it fun. And I definitely didn't think that I was going to get like 1,100 mints. The open edition that I had did before that was the costume party, and I didn't know that I was going to get 200 mints. So with the Born to Die, like the costume party had minted at 0.1, and Born to Die was going to mint at 0.15. So I was going to be happy with it minting like 100. I was like, if it gets to 100, like I feel like I accomplished something. And then, it got to 100. And then I was like, okay, next goal, if it gets to 200 and 201 and passes the costume party, then I'll feel like I accomplished something. And then, after that is out of my hands, it passes 201. And then, it starts to go 300, 400, 500. Then really I was just like, it's out of my hands for real. And then I had tweeted out at a certain point, because I knew that the 2 burns that I had described weren't going to be enough if, had got past a certain point. So I had tweeted out like, if it passes 500 mints, like I'll add another burn and more stuff. So yeah, it passed 500, then it passed 600 and 700. And then I was like, okay, like, I'm going to have to make a whole another burn map basically. So that's why I had put out another one recently, just to kind of update it and just to be like, hey, because even like recent times, people were like running it up crazy, and people at a certain point didn't even realize that, initially, Born to Die was made to burn. People were just buying it because they liked it. They didn't realize that there were so many different things attached to it. So that's why another reason why I had came out with the updated burn map. But yeah, that's pretty much the thought that had came behind it. But like I said, I didn't know that it was going to go as crazy as it went. But I'm super grateful for it. I feel like it's made like a whole community of people that we probably wouldn't have found each other any other way.
Now I'm smiling a lot because I love that every answer that you've given me has so much substance. And I say that on a couple of episodes that I love guests that can really give me solid answers. And you know what you want to talk about, man. You have a lot of passion, you have a lot of love, and you're very humble about this stuff. So, talking about Born to Die, whenever I first saw it, I got the chance to talk to you a couple times before Born to Die dropped. I told you I was a big fan of your work. And whenever I saw Born to Die drop, I was one of those people. I was like, well, damn, I really don't want to burn this, to be honest with you. This is kind of wild. And then you did the free claim for Never Too Late. So those that don't know, if you're listening in and aren't aware, whenever there was the Born to Die, he did have a lot of people claim. And as someone personally, I'm doing art myself. I'm not someone who has put out art my whole life, but I've always created. And when I tell you I did a free mint and that bad boy got 35 mints, I could have did about 30 backflips. Oh, and that's just 30, like 30 mints. So I could only imagine 1,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's surreal. Then you do the Never Too Late, which was a free claim if you held Born to Die. I believe that was around 200 to 300 claims.
Five something.
Look at me, bro. I'm so sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Five, even better. 500 claims. So even there, that's crazy. Okay, so now we get the new burn map with Born to Die. We did see that on there, Never Too Late is going to have a burn. Now, I think initially that was not going to be in the plan, but it's super sick that you added it because now you need 5 of these. And I just checked. There's only 2 people that hold 10. So that means if they want to, they can make 2 of them, of course, for themselves, which is a smart idea. And then overall, there can only be a little under 25 made as of right now, which will be a crazy low addition. So I say all that to say, is there anything, this won't air until Monday or Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Is there anything that you can say on behalf of, are we going to see the rest of the burns this month? Is this something that could be spread out into February, or is it something you don't want to speak on right now?
No, I can speak on it a little bit. I definitely want to get Burn 2 going pretty soon here. I've definitely been busy with like a lot of different things that are kind of time sensitive and all that. But yeah, I already know exactly what Burn 2 and Burn 3 are going to be. I just need to make the pieces. But yeah, I definitely want to do, what's today, the 20th? So yeah, I definitely want to get Burn 2 out this month. And then yeah, it'll kind of stretch over February and maybe even March. But yeah, definitely the Burn 2 will probably be out this month.
I like that. Okay, so that's definitely some alpha that whenever people listen to this, they can definitely, kind of build around that and be like, okay, I either have a little bit of time to get me another Born to Die before the 3rd burn. If you want to try to get Never Too Late, we don't know when that burn's going to be. Maybe that's coming up soon. Do you know what you want to do with that at least? You don't have to say the date. But
yeah, I definitely know what I want to do with that. And then, yeah, with the things that are on the burn map in the order that they're in, they're kind of made to come in succession. So I definitely already know what I want to do for that as well. Yeah, everything's already planned out. I just need to go and like do it. I need to just go in and create the pieces. But I definitely know exactly what I want to do with everything.
Okay, sick. So now let's talk about your bidders editions. Now, there is a bunch of tossed up opinions, not on you, but on bidders edition in general. So you have some people that feel like they're good for the economy. You got some people that think opposite. Me personally, I'm a pretty big fan of bidders editions because, you're trying to support, well, I would like to hope and think that you're trying to support the artist. You're trying to get in there. You're still rewarded with the piece. If you flip it, do whatever you do on your own time, that's you and whatever. But it comes to your bidders editions. They have been pretty successful. What has it been like to see even your bidders editions go for crazy amount of money? And we're also going to talk about your all-time highs that's been going on recently. But before, let's talk about that, your bidders editions. What is it like? Like, do you make a piece already knowing what the bidders edition is going to be? Or is that something that comes to you maybe after the fact?
All right, so I'll even go back to like 2021 because that's when the first bitter edition I did
Perfect.
was. It was the birthday boy piece. It was like the piece with the boy that was in a red shirt and he was in front of the cake. And with that one, I knew that I wanted to make another version. And I think, let me see, the first person I had ever saw do a bitter edition was probably this artist named Tori Bryant. And I just really thought that it was so cool, and there was so much gamification, and it was just cool incentivization. But also, I'm able to give out art to people for free, basically. Besides like the last bidder, but that was definitely the first thought that I ever had with it, and more recently now it's been a lot more like just crazy and like people just know so bad that they want to, I'll have like probably like 50 to 100 people just hit me up like, yeah, I'm going to bid on your piece. And I'm going to, and I have like a whole collector chat and like they're all trying to bid. And then like, it goes for like a minute and then it's already at like 15 ETH. And then we're all just like, okay, who was able to bid? Who was able to bid? And then it's like two of the like 75 people that are in my collector chat. So, now it's definitely like kind of crazy and like de-genified, but I think that it's definitely still cool, and I definitely still like to give out free art. And just in terms of what you were saying, and the way that I kind of plan them out, I think for some pieces, especially for like the making it drops that I'm a part of a lot of times. For those ones, we always start those drops at like 0.1 reserve. So I always thought that it was just cool to have a bidder edition just to get that thing kind of rolling, to kind of incentivize early bidding and all those types of things. But as well as just when I'm making certain pieces, like for instance, this one wasn't a bidder edition, but this one did have a whole nother piece inside of the piece that I made, car shopping, that had the bull in it.
Yeah.
When I was making that piece and when I had made the bull, I was like, okay, this piece is actually good enough to be its own piece, even though I just made it for this specific piece. So I had ended up gifting that to the collector. So they basically got a 2-for-1. But, for pieces like that, or, pieces like Fancy Thieves, where I had the X copy, the plan was always to have that be like a bidder edition. I just really wanted that to be like a whole moment. And I knew that with that piece, I was literally going to have a piece that, some would argue that the X copy portion of it, the El Diablo Morado, was kind of a more important piece than, the piece that it was a part of, the Fancy Thieves piece. So with stuff like that, I always know that I kind of wanted to, especially if I have a piece that's inside of a piece, kind of want to incorporate that and, just kind of make it fun. Like I said, the gamification of this space is super like fun to me, and just, like I said, incentivizing bidding and, just like you said, a lot of them have been super successful. People are getting paid, 4 figures, for stuff that they didn't pay $1 for, besides like gas, so it's definitely been super cool to see what they've been doing.
Bro, and I want to say this because I'm not someone who can do it. Let's say not right now. I would just say not right now. But anyone listening in, because I'm a really big fan of bidders editions, and I'm a big fan of burns. But I'm a really big fan of low edition counts. I want someone to just kick it off with like a 30 ETH bid. Make the freaking bidders edition like 2. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like that would I'm waiting for someone to just do that, Now, and a funny story is, me and my good friend Kips, whenever you did something, and it was a little early on, it was after Born to Die, I think, and it was something with the bidders edition. So me and my friend Kips was like, yo, like, let's try to kick it off. Bro, we thought we were like maybe throwing you a bone by like trying to throw a big 0.4 bid, bro. I think someone kicked it off at like 2 ETH. I don't even think my transaction went through. I was like, oh, my buddy messaged me. He was like, yeah, I don't even think I got through. I said, bro, who did we think we were throwing him a bone at 0.4? Come on, bro. And that's when we kind of knew, like, Yeah, people is now realizing like not only is it great art, a great artist, but I'm able to get a chance at, like you said, a free piece. Rather it be for flipping or holding, it's a great opportunity to get a Terrell piece. Um, so for
100%.
for one, I love that. Now let's talk about your all time highs. Um, and I know that's something wild to say, but you're a very humble guy. So, just recently, you and I, if I get the numbers incorrect, please correct me. Is it
You're good. You're good.
making it 247? Is that the group name?
Yep.
Okay, so making it 247 recently did a collaborative effort where they have a collective group of people, I guess I should say, and a bunch of great artists, you including were one of them. I believe you were able to pull in the all-time high of the whole drop, so congratulations on that.
I appreciate it.
Now, the number was 24?
0.9, yeah.
24.9. Okay. So with ETH right now, we're going to talk USD. We'll just say that's above $20,000. Okay. What is it like for you? I want to say you deserve this 100%. As someone who has been going their whole life, you have that in you. I feel like you're getting that recognition. You're getting that what you deserve. What is it like, bro, to sell art for $20,000 plus? I mean, seriously, not only once, but maybe twice, 3 times. People are really starting to put big numbers up, and it's starting to get serious. Is that something you recognize?
Definitely. Yeah, with me, like I had said, in terms of my journey and all that, I definitely never saw anything like this happening. Especially not because I used to always have conversations, even with that guy I was telling you about that initially got me onto Foundation, Jordan. We used to always have talks like, hey, wouldn't it be crazy for like someone to just pay us like thousands of dollars and then we could just do art and we don't have to worry about like going to a job and all that type of stuff. We don't have to be in the rat race. We could just get paid to do what we love. And at the time that was like some fantastical talk. It was just like, wouldn't it be crazy? But it's cool just looking back at those times now and just knowing that like I kind of like manifested it almost. And like I said, I'm just super grateful for it. Those times at like FedEx, I would literally be at work all day long thinking of different art pieces that I wanted to do. And then getting home and being too drained to do anything, I would just like go straight to sleep, or I would just like go watch shows. Cause like, I felt like if I touched that iPad, I would like break it. Like, I was just so drained and exhausted from work that I could never really execute all the art that I wanted to do. So that was a huge part of me quitting as well. So even just thinking back, to times like that now where, I make my own hours, if I don't want to do art today, I don't have to do art today. But I mean, it's what I love doing. Like I love creating. I'm in love with creating. The work is the fun part for me. So, getting paid to work basically is just, and just do what like I said, what I love. I'm just so in love with this. So it's super awesome. And, I don't know. It's crazy to think about. Cause like you said, with making it, I think literally every time I've dropped with making it, we've had 3 drops now. I think every time that I've dropped with them, it has set my all time high at that point. I think initially it was 9 point something, and then it was 15, and then it was the last one 24.9. So yeah, it's been super awesome to work with them as well.
So I have to break it to you. I'm not sure if you're aware of the numbers. So are you aware that you're about $80,000 away from breaking $1 million in sales on secondary? So
that's crazy. No, I didn't know.
Yeah. So for those listening in, I've said it multiple times already. Terrell's a very humble guy, so I know that this isn't about money to him. It's a beautiful thing whenever you get to a point in your career where you can reach these milestones. But yeah, as of right now, Evil and Color Editions have done 580 total volume. And if you were to calculate that into US dollars right now, that's about $922,000. So you're right there at the $1 million mark. which is another huge milestone. I'm sure you will be breaking that with your next burn. So, bro, like that's a crazy thing to think of. You're doing really big things. I want to ask you though, before I keep on asking you, do you have a little bit more free time for us to keep going?
Yeah, no, we can go for however long.
Okay, cool. So I do want to ask you, whenever you've done these pieces, we've seen, for one, I've always noticed the cultural references, rather it be the up tempos. One for me was the money pinned to the shirt on Terry. Those that know, But so I love that you do the cultural references, but you also tie in references to artists that I would imagine you favor. Who are the ones in Web3 and even traditional artists? Because I know your artist. Who is your inspiration? Who do you see? And you're like, that's where I pull some stuff from. Because I read your bio and I know you do get your inspirations from the real world, like, video games, manga, anime, different things. But what artists do you love?
Yeah, in terms of Web3, some names I can rattle off. Corey Van Loo was definitely one early on that was just like, I would literally just be like looking at his descriptions or looking at the way that he's dropping stuff on Twitter or, all that type of stuff, just looking at the way that, people like him at the time were just structuring their stuff. Just super big inspo. More recently, Grant Yoon definitely was a big inspo. Just looking at, the way that he kind of approached things was kind of different. And a lot of people like him, like I kind of think of Alex as well. A lot of people like that, they would mint a lot of pieces and stuff. And, early on, people would be like, oh, that's over minting. You shouldn't have more than 2 unsold pieces on Super Rare at once and all that type of stuff. And they would have 30 or so. So I think it's just really cool seeing those types of artists just be so successful and kind of just breaking those different barriers down, where people are trying to put up, invisible walls or certain rules and stuff in this, ruleless game that we're in and kind of just almost just stunting on them. So definitely people like that as well. Always like X Copy. I always tell people I look at him like a Da Vinci or a Picasso or just that kind of echelon, in terms of this space. When I think of this space or I think of Web3 art, I'm going to think of an X Copy or an ACK first, because even just visually, his art kind of, in my opinion, represents this whole space. If you were to just kind of boil it down to one thing. Let me see who else. Definitely Roswell. If people don't know Roswell, not a legend. People always ask me how did I kind of come up with the pop precision, style that I kind of coined. Roz was definitely a big part of just telling me hey, I see that you're doing this style, and if you're gonna do a style and you're gonna have this own movement yourself that you're making yourself, it kind of needs a name, to kind of add that own iconic factor to it. So, I kind of came up with that pop precision name, on a flight to Miami for Basel. And, Roswell is definitely one. Goliath, if anyone knows Goliath, his art, I'll always just look at his art and just be like, how do you do that? Usually I know how people can attack certain things, or I'm like, oh, I can tell that you use this certain brush on this app, or I can tell that you used, this layer to do this or that. A lot of his stuff, I'll just look at it and be like, I don't know how you did that, bro, but that's just legendary. So, yeah, those are definitely some names that come to mind. I'm definitely missing so many. I'm gonna think about this later and be like, I should have named this and that and that and that. But yeah, those are definitely ones that come to mind instantly.
No, them are some great artists. Luckily, I do know everyone you named, but dude, I mean that's so X Copy for one. I don't know if I'll ever have him on here, but now when you talk about people that's been in the space, he's definitely up there with I would put him above the Beeples, only because it's longevity. X Copy's been here
100%.
From the start. I started in 21 and he was already here with a really big name at that point. So I was like, damn, this dude is the truth. Now I do have to ask, is there anyone that you're wanting to work with in Web3 that you either haven't got around to asking yet, or you're like, man, I don't even know if I can ask him yet, or have you already worked with everybody that you want to?
Oh no, I'm definitely always open to collaborations. I think, let me see. There's definitely, I have a whole list of people I want to work with, but I think when I do it, I'll definitely have to think about exactly how I want to structure things. But I definitely have like pieces in mind just with like a bunch of people. I can name some off. Amu, uh, Vinny Hager, So Complex, definitely Bats, definitely Jeremy Booth. Um, Definitely got to get something in with Roswell at some point. Definitely got to get something in with Goliath at some point. Definitely got to get some more in with Gamo. I definitely got to get some work in with Nayaverse. Um, I'm definitely like I'm super, like I said, I'm super open to collapse. I think what I'll have to do is kind of structure it in like a certain like collection in a certain way, and to kind of have the drop be like a whole moment. And whether that be like dropping certain amounts of pieces a week, or maybe do a bunch of pieces and we drop them as additions or something. I'll definitely just have to think about how exactly I want to approach that. But I definitely have, like I said, with the way that I do art, I'll just have like whole pieces done in my head. So I definitely have like pieces finished in terms of like collaborations in my head already.
Yo, that's sick. And for those that don't know, big shout out to Roswell. I was fortunate enough to get in a spaces with Roswell, Terrell, and our friend Milan. And it was super dope, man. I probably was in there from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. just shooting the shit, having fun, literally talking about everything from music to shoes and it was just a blast. And from then I knew kind of like Terrell, Roz, and all these people that you surround yourself with. Like, these are some really good people and like who I want to be around as well. It's been a freaking blast just being able to see all y'all build. Roz is a absolutely amazing creator. Crazy. Milan as well. He'll be on here next week. I've reached out to Roz. I have to get Roz on here. I think he's phenomenal. I wanted his piece so bad in the Making It 247 drop with bro. Like,
bro, all crazy. Of his pieces, bro. Roz is crazy, bro.
Absolutely. And
like, if people knew what Roz, like
Jeremy Booth, I have to
100%.
Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. No, I was gonna say, like, Roz, first of all, he's the most hospitable man in America. My first time in LA, I was able to stay on his couch for like, the first 4 or 5 days I was there. That was just off the love. And if people knew what Roz has coming, bro, like, I literally look at him like a Steve Jobs or something. Like, he has so many different cool mechanics and different cool pieces and stuff that people just never seen, people are not ready for. But no, I'm just super excited to see whatever Roz does next. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, bro. I am in a basement with Wi-Fi, and when I tell you it's choppy, so sometimes I might cut you off. So no, you're definitely all good. But Roz, he literally just made a tweet, I think yesterday, and he was like, yo, apologies for, I forgot what it was exactly. I don't want to butcher the name, but like, it had got botted and they hit him with like 25,000 submissions. And Roz has no reason to cap, but I'm just like, bro, he's really like, he's really turning up. Like, people don't understand.
100%.
But you mentioned Jeremy Booth, and I have to give a big shout out to him. He's actually, I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky. So he's literally the only other person I know here in Louisville, Kentucky, especially doing art. So when I found out Jeremy was like, I was like, bro, hold on. You're like a couple blocks over from me, literally in real life. And we just thought that was so crazy. And shout out to Jeremy. He'll actually be on February 9th. So, a bunch of good artists, man. But Terrell, dog, I can't, before I transition over to, I have 5 questions that I ask everybody on the podcast before we end. But before we go over to the end, I do want to ask you, man, what are you currently doing right now? I know you have the burn map going for Born to Die. I know you said that you have some things that are like time sensitive, but what can we expect from Terrell in the next coming, I guess, 1 to 3 weeks? Are you just chilling?
I'm never chilling.
All right, walk us through that.
I'm never chilling. I'm never chilling. Nah, yeah. Every day, especially when I get quiet, just know I'm working. Every waking moment is spent doing art. Like people would be like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?" or "Oh, have you seen this anime or this show?" For the past like 3 or 4 months, like I haven't watched like any movies or shows. Like the only real like break I get or any of that, like sometimes I'll be able to watch like NBA basketball while I work, but like I don't be watching any movies or shows anymore. I just be working constantly. So definitely a lot more pieces are going to come out. I've definitely promised people a bunch of auditions, and right now I'm just working on being able to finish those. I promised people a bunch of one-on-ones as well. So yeah, you'll definitely be seeing in the coming weeks different like galleries or different. I'll be dropping with different people here and there. I don't know if I can get into it now. I don't know when this is coming out, but like I said, you could definitely expect to see just a bunch more art, a bunch of artists coming out. And like you said, I'm definitely working on the burn map and just satisfying those Born to Die holders, those Dead of Night holders. And then I can't get too deep into it, but I'm definitely in talks with different brands and auction houses, and things are being worked on in the background. Just know, but yeah, some things take a little bit more time than others. If I want to go drop on super rare, I can do that in a couple of days. But if I want to go drop with this certain gallery or this certain artist or this certain brand, those things kind of take weeks or months to build. So yeah, a lot of things are definitely being worked on in the background, though.
Okay, so I mean, for y'all listening, that's twice now that he's dropped a little alpha for y'all to to kind of run with, and so y'all can, you know what I'm saying? No, that's actually great to hear, man. Whether it be Sotheby's, which I already know, if not now, you will be in there before too long. There's a lot of great things coming for this space, the technology, the art. I'm really happy to see people gravitate towards, I don't want to call it real art. I guess non-generative art is what we would call it. Not profile pictures is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see people get this recognition. A big thing for me is it's even more cool to see someone of color get recognition. Often in this space, you ask people, "Hey, can you name me a black artist?" And they're going to tell you Basquiat. Most of them cannot name anyone past that, and even Basquiat's not in many museums, or it took a very, very long time for him to be in them. So to see the art world transforming a little bit, slowly but surely, and to see people like yourself rise and many others get the recognition they deserve, bro, that's so beautiful. Before we go over to the 5 questions, is there anything that you want to let the people know, in case I didn't ask you something specifically?
I can't think of anything right now. You had good questions.
Perfect. No, that's perfect. Okay, so with the 5 questions, these are pretty general, pretty easy. They can be answered with Web3 or real life, but number 1 starts off pretty simple is, what is your goal in 2023?
I think with me, sometimes I try not to put like a timeline on goals because, everything's going to happen when it needs to happen. But right now, a goal that I don't think I've accomplished yet, this probably wouldn't be this year, though. So I don't know. I'll say one, and then I'll try to think of another. This one might not be this year, though, because really, I'm just trying to work on my art book. And that's just been me working on that since like 2021, so just working on, and probably just even before that, a lot of my pieces, even just like 2018-ish, will probably end up, in the first couple pages of that. But yeah, definitely with every piece I'm doing, I'm working on my art book. But also, I guess that this one can be my goal for this year. Working on doing a solo show, my first solo show. So every piece that I'm making right now will probably end up in that as well. So yeah, when you're looking at the super rares or you're looking at my OpenSea, just imagine that being in like a big old room, with a bunch of my peers. No, that's definitely a goal as well.
I like that. No, that's a great answer, man. That's a great answer. Number two would be, if you could, a little bit easier, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
It'd probably be like LA, and specifically like the Little Tokyo or the Art District. I just every time I visit there, I'm super excited to go there. The vibes are super chill. Usually the weather is good. I was there this past week and it wasn't it wasn't great, but usually it's good. So I think anywhere with like cool people and good weather is always going to be somewhere where I want to be. So like I'm thinking about moving to LA.
I can't lie. Luckily I've gotten the opportunity to visit Miami, New York, and LA. I feel like them are the three like big cities. And hands down, I am picking LA 10 times out of 10. It's not as congested, I feel, as New York. I don't have to worry about hurricanes like Miami. And LA, I honestly felt like, as someone from Kentucky, LA was way more welcoming and diverse whenever it came to the people and then just everyone being out there. And bro, I can smoke. I'm a smoker. So I definitely got to be in LA. I got to vibe with them out there. So I love that answer. Moving on to number three, you might have an answer for this one. What is your biggest pet peeve?
I think right now I would just say like people trying to control artists' narratives and artists is like, especially right now, that art is being championed and kind of replaced in a sense that PFP hype. It's kind of like moving into that spot. So, a lot of the degens are getting into it and, I'll have a certain drop coming up and, I'm only sharing it with my alpha chat, for my collectors. And then all of a sudden I'm getting, 4 or 5 different DMs from random people talking about, hey, I heard that you have an open edition coming up, what time, or, is this true, or all those types of things. So I think that, alpha chats and all those types of things, sometimes it's cool, but, sometimes they can kind of get too PFP-ish in a sense where they're like, when drop, or, why isn't the floor doing this? Or, an artist would just be trying to, sell a little art or, just try to release art in a certain way. And, they're taking over the drop. This artist was thinking that they're going to go sell like 100, 200 pieces. And, all of a sudden 6,000 pieces are minted and people are going, oh, it's over minted. What's the floor doing? All those types of things when, that was never the artist's intention, in the first place. So I think that sometimes people can get too caught up in that and trying to control what artists are doing a little too much in this space. But thankfully, I don't feel like people do that with me too much right now. I don't know. I can't speak for the future, but right now, people, they try to control certain things, but I see it a lot more with my peers.
Damn. Well, luckily my art is not good enough yet to where people are harassing me about my floor price. But just know, if you ever DM me and say, yo, what are we going to do about this floor? I'm going to say, yo, I have no clue. I'm wishing you the best out there, though. But no, I mean, it is a little wild out here. It's the Wild West. And I understand people have, money involved. But at the end of the day, we are humans. Whether it be an artist, a founder, creator, builder, they are humans. And, I mean, ain't nobody trying to get harassed, attacked, any of that. So hopefully it don't get too wild for you or any more wild for your peers. But I can't lie, brother, with that art, I think it's only going to start kicking up for you. So, unfortunately, man, I might DM you tomorrow and be like, so what are we going to do about that burn map, huh? No, I'm just kidding. Number 4 would be, what do people misunderstand about you most?
I think sometimes, I'll like tweet out like, I got to work harder, or I'll just tweet out like, certain stuff like that. And people will kind of, and I understand where they're coming from, because, usually with people, they'll start to talk about burnout and all that. And for me, it's just different now. I've experienced burnout before, but when I experienced burnout, it was because I was doing stuff that I wasn't passionate about. This is when I was doing commissions, and I would take on so many different commissions because at the time, I don't come from money, and sometimes commissions was how I was going to eat that week, or any of those types of things. So I was accepting anything. Hey, I need a brochure. Okay, when do you need to buy? How much? Hey, I need business cards. Okay, when do you need to buy? Hey, I need an album cover. Hey, I need this for this. I need this for that. I need a wedding shower picture. I need this commission for my mom. I was accepting anything. So, at a certain point, I would accept too much. And then, a bunch of people are all like, hey, how's that piece? How's this piece doing? All that type of stuff. And, at a certain point, it just got to be too much. And I was just like, okay, like, I know that I feel like I need to do these commissions and I need to do commissions, period. But, at a certain point, I did need like a break and some decompression and all that. But I would say that the big difference now is I'm like in love with what I'm doing and I'm in love with creating, I'm making the getaway and, car shopping and, all these different pieces and stuff. And that's the fun part for me. So, when I'm saying like, oh, I need to work harder, it's not coming from like, oh, these people expect me to work and I need to do the burn map and I need to do this and I need to do that. It's coming from me actually like wanting to be able to tell these stories to people and wanting to actually get, all these thoughts out that I have in my head. I tell people all the time, I probably have like 40, 50 different finished pieces in my head, but, I always feel like, like I don't have enough time to, there's never enough time in the day to work on all these different pieces and stuff. And like I said, at the end of the day, I really just want to tell people these different stories I have or, show them more of the world that I'm creating. So that's really all that ever comes from. So, people will think that I'm coming from a place of just like, they're seeing people talk about the floor. They're seeing people talk about, oh, when's the burn? When's the burn? When's the burn? And they're thinking that, I'm feeling pressured from that. But really, I'm feeling, something from myself, just like I want to be able to express, all the different thoughts in my head.
I mean, yeah, whenever I see your art, I mean, I feel like it's more than just, if this makes sense, it's more than just art. Like there's reasoning behind it. There's things going on. So I can only imagine, like, what's going on behind the scenes. As someone who only does abstract art, bro, I put a couple circles on a page and I'm like, I'm different. You know what I'm saying? I see your work and I'm like, he's really different. He's crazy with it. So I can only imagine, bro. I really can. Really. Number 5. And this might happen quicker than you think, but if you win $10 million tomorrow, so if you dropped another 101 tomorrow, no, what would you spend it on if you let's say hit the lottery or something?
I think first and foremost, I've been talking about this, and honestly, I could probably start to even work on this now, but me personally, I wasn't able to go to college, so, but I did want to go to college. I don't ever want people to think that, anytime I say that I didn't go to college or I don't have a formal art training, that I'm telling them that that's the path to take or that that's the best thing to do. I would have loved to go to art school, but, the art school that I wanted to go to, people are paying like $80,000 a year or something. So I was never able to. I know that if I went there and if I was able to even find a way to get the FAFSA or any of that, I would be paying that off, forever. So I definitely want to work on making a scholarship just to be able to put different people that were in my position through college, through art school and all those types of things. But let me see, what else? Let me see. You said 10 million. I want the Lambo. I want the Ferrari. No, me personally, I'm like, I don't ever even want like a mansion. Like, I'm super just comfortable, just being comfortable. And, I like nice things. Obviously, I think most of us do, but I'm never that person that's just going to be like, yeah, I need 21 cars on the garage, all that type of, like, I'm never there. So I don't know. Let me see, 10 million. I don't know what I would do, honestly.
Let me ask you this. What's one piece of art you would buy?
I think I would try to track down a way to get an original George Condo because that's
Wow.
my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite artist of all time. So shoot, that might be the whole 10 mil. But I think that it would be really cool to have some art just from any of my favorite artists. I have a lot of art, just collected like in the space, but I think it would be cool to get some traditional art as well.
Now, I have to ask, even though this isn't a question on the thing,
Go for it. Go for it.
do you make physical pieces? Like,
Not anymore. The last physical I made was probably it was probably actually something that I used in order to when I was applying to be a part of this New Balance internship that I was a part of for 3 weeks with Pencil Academy. They weren't going to allow us to do digital pieces in order to like render out the shoes. They wanted us to make shoes just like actually like traditional, with like markers or pens or pencils or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna have to break out the Copic markers, the color pencils, and all that. So that was probably like the last physical thing I made, and that was probably like 2020. But yeah, even just before that, like my transition from traditional to digital was during like 2015-ish through like 2017-ish. The last like painting I made was like 2015. And then, I was doing like pencil stuff, until around like 2017-ish when I was able to get an iPad. And then from then on, I was able to turn that into different iPads, get my little brother an iPad. And then, yeah, just from then on, digital has my heart. When I was doing traditional, I was never able to get all the nitty gritty details. At the time, I wasn't able to get, the best brushes or, all the best materials in order to get, like I said, with seeing my art, I like to get into the fine details of things. So with digital, I'm able to zoom in as far as I want to. I'm able to have huge canvases. I think the pieces I work on right now are usually 9,000 by 12,000 pixels, and that's 40 by 30 inches. So, if that's physical, that can be blown out pretty big. So, but I'm still able to just have that in, my 12 by or 12.9, iPad. So, I'm able to work on that on flights, in the middle of functions if I want to, in bed. I don't have to go pull out an easel and all types of paints and all types of stuff. So, I'm just super in love with digital.
No, that's actually crazy. If you're running that big of a picture though, you have to be running a 256 gigabyte iPad. I mean, that thing has.
Oh yeah, no, it's a terabyte.
Yeah. I figured it had to be. You said that big of a picture. I was like, damn. I might do a 4,500 by 4,500, get like 10 layers. Yeah, definitely don't got nothing like that. But Terrell, bro, to wrap it up, man, it's been absolutely amazing getting this chance. It was such short notice, bro. You hit me and you were like, yo, what about tomorrow? I was like, yeah, that. And dude, I was like, even if I'm not free tomorrow, I got to make myself free because this was just a good episode. And I really felt like you have a lot of stuff coming up, especially with the Born to Die and stuff. And it was just a good opportunity for people to get the chance to just know what you got going on, hear more about you. And I do want to give people a little bit of alpha. So please correct me if I'm wrong. Now, you don't do the physical pieces like you said, but I do believe there's a link in your bio on Twitter to a web shop of yours where you can get prints made of your prior work. Now, people, if I was Terrell, I would have done raise the prices on y'all's ass because this is very affordable. Credit, these are not like a limited number. These are not, I don't believe, signed by any means. But if you're wanting to have a piece of art Terrell designed, if you want that on your wall, you can go to his bio. You can get the prints, and he has a lot of great work on there. You're not going to get Born to Die or nothing, I don't believe, but you are.
No, I'm working on updating. Like I said, I'm so busy, bro. I'm supposed to be finishing the Discord. I'm supposed to be updating that. But yeah, no, definitely it'll be updated soon with like all the new pieces and stuff.
Absolutely. Well, there y'all go. He even told y'all right there. Soon you'll be able to get more pieces. But just to let y'all know, if you want to find Terrell, could you please, before we go, let people know where we could find you and what your ad is on Twitter?
Oh yeah, I'm Terrell Dom on most things. I think on Discord it's like Terrell Doms with like a Z at the end. But On most of everything else, I'm Terrell Dom, TerrellDom. Yeah. So that's Twitter, Instagram, all that.
Awesome. Yeah, and I highly encourage those. I mean, there's really no reason why y'all shouldn't know who Terrell is. But in the off chance I reached that part of the internet where for some reason you don't know Terrell, I encourage you to go check out his work. Go check out not only the Born to Die and the Burn Map, but check out a lot of the prior works. Like I said earlier, one of my favorite pieces is Hit My Jack. Probably one of my, top up there for him. But there's just so many good ones that you can go see. There's prints you could buy. Check him out. Do all that. Terrell, brother, thank you so much for this episode. Stick around just so this can upload and stuff. And for those listening, I just thank you so much. We're trying to push out more content. So we have Terrell this week. Coming up, we have Franklin and his Bored Apes, all 50 of them. We have OXT Joe. He's coming on. We have Milan, which is Medio Lanham. Jeremy Booth, and the list goes on and on. Claire Salvo. We have a lot of great people coming on. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this for so long. Terrell, thank you so much, brother, for doing this. And
of course, I had to, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry it was short notice.
No, dude, you're good. I was happy because I was like, you know what? If I bump this DM one more time, he might unfollow me. So I'm just gonna let it be. And whenever he wants to come on, I'm hoping that he'll reach out. So you did, bro, and I can't lie, man. I'm so honored to do this, and I'm looking forward to all the future conversations.
Of course, definitely. Once I start to put out some of these other pieces, I'd be happy to be back on or something, or we could do a space or something, just something else. This is super dope.
Absolutely, bro. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll definitely be watching what you do. And everyone listening in, thank you so much. We'll be doing this. We might have some 2 episodes coming up this week and next week, but we're going to stay on track for every week. So y'all have a great day, and we will see y'all next week. Peace out, everybody.